Hi, everyone. My name is Lynette Davis with LynetteDavis.com, and I'm super excited to bring this guest of this year's Be the Change series. So we are going to jump right in. You know what? When I invited this particular guest, I was like, I could have swore I had her on here already. So, because we have partnered with each other on so many different endeavors.
Mhm.
Um, it kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Vernetta R. Freeney.
Thank you. Yes, we have done a lot of stuff together over the years.
Awesome, awesome. So, Vernetta, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you are up to.
Well, I like to tell people that I am the biggest Dallas Mavericks fan. That's very important. I'm a Netflix connoisseur. I love brownies. I'm probably the best brownie maker ever. I'm loving, caring, funny, snarky, witty, but at the same time, I have a million things that I do. I am an ESL teacher, which is teaching English as a second language. I run a blog association, the Houston African American Bloggers Association. I have my own business, The Truth Confidant, where I teach stressed individuals how to claim their peace using journaling. And then I try to have a social life. So that's kind of wrapped up, I guess you could say nice and neat right now.
Awesome, awesome. And I love what you're doing with the Truth Confidant. Um, I know that you have the podcast
Mhm.
that's helping you promote it. I know you had the blog, and and then also just doing the conference and all the different.
Yes.
Awesome. So let me ask you, what does be the change mean to you?
Well, it means doing something that you don't see happening. So a lot of times people are like, oh, this should happen or this should happen, and then they sit and wait for someone else to do it. If you want to be the change, then you might as well do what you are wanting to see. So for me, I wanted to be in a blog group. I joined the blog group, and the founder didn't really do anything with the blog group. So I became the change. I stepped up, and almost 3 years later, the HAB, what we call it, is, flourishing, is thriving, is getting its sea legs. But I was the change because I wanted to see something and I didn't actually see it.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, and I am curious because I could definitely see how we look out into, the marketplace and go, I don't see what I need. So I guess it's going to be me.
Yeah.
And I think that's like such a great example of like what be the change means. Because if you want to see it, you start with you, as you can.
Yes.
So I want to backtrack and talk about the journaling aspect of what you do, because I am curious, how can we be the change with journaling?
Well, it comes down to how I teach journaling is for you to connect with yourself. A lot of times we have a million thoughts, literally a million thoughts running through because we all have busy lives, have things we have to do. And we aren't aware of who we are throughout the day. We're kind of just going, but we never stop to connect with ourselves to make sure that what we're doing throughout the day is actually aligned with who we are as a person. And so when it comes to be the change in journaling, it is actually going against the grain. So many times you hear people, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you go to conferences, be authentic, be authentic. And then people ask, well, how do you do that? I mean, it's a very valid question. I know some people kind of roll their eyes and think, just be yourself. A lot of people don't know how to be themselves. And journaling helps you start to see aspects of your life in a different way, so that you can start evaluating, do I like the person that I am, the person that I am presenting to other people, or do I need to dig a little deeper and find out who this person is? So Be the Change when it comes to journaling is actually doing something that people say all the time: be authentic. And the only way that you can do that is to really learn how to connect with oneself.
Love it. I absolutely love it. I am so there with you, but I'm being biased because I like the journal. But honestly, when you first, somebody, throws, a notebook, and always laugh about me and my colorful notebooks and my purple pen. Sometimes you get that and it's like, okay, where do I start? What do I write? So what I love about what you do is you give a guidance, you give guidance what people, how people can get to know themselves through this process. And I think that's really important that's out there. That way that's an opportunity that somebody could take up.
Yes, because a lot of people think journaling is like the English papers you gave your high school teacher. It's not. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect handwriting, grammar, spelling, none of that. I mean, I can't even read sometimes after I finish writing because I'm in the zone. I'm just releasing things. And then I'm like, is that an A? O or an E, like, what vowel is that? And you're trying to figure out, trying to figure out the word. But at the same time, people see this blank page and feel that it needs to be filled up. And I tell people, if you can write a long Instagram or Facebook post, which many people do on a consistent basis, then you can journal. It's the same thing. You're writing how you feel on social media. Why can't you write how you feel in a journal? It's literally the same thing. One's just typing, the other is paper and pen.
Awesome. So, you know what, you brought up something really important. Why would someone rather write with the pen and paper and a notebook when they could, just post it on Instagram?
People who, in my opinion, let me make sure I put that caveat out there. In my opinion, people who post things that should go in their journal online are seeking attention. And they're seeking attention because they haven't connected with who they are. If you connect with who you are, you don't need validation, sympathy, or encouragement from other people to do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. When people post online, they're trying to get someone to validate what they feel instead of going with what they feel or thinking what they should do, and follow through with that. They're looking for someone else to co-sign either their misery or something, but they're looking for someone else to give them what they're not able to give themselves.
That's definitely a good way to think about it. And, I want to tie that back into what you were saying earlier about being the change. You're looking out, you're seeing things. So if people are going on to posts and they're seeing posts with people looking for them to validate who they are, really, that's not really being authentic. That's not really being change.
It's not, because I would say it's probably getting there if the person is working through some issues. Like, you do have to kind of figure out how to find your voice. It took me a while. It takes everyone a while to get there, especially because if you don't know how to do it, which 99.9% of people don't, and you're doing it on your own, it's going to be a messy transition. But there's people like myself and you and other people who have gotten to certain stages where we can help guide people to those places. And the problem is, people don't want other people to see their flaws, yet they flaunt their flaws on social media. So it's almost like an oxymoron. Like, you don't want people to see that you don't have it together, but then you post you don't have it together, but you don't want someone to help you get it together.
I I love that. And then I had India Irie pop in my head. Awesome. Awesome. So that definitely helped clarify some things for me. So let me stop kicking the laptop here so it doesn't go flying. Uh, so let me ask you this, because you were talking about kind of finding your voice online, and you know what, I do that too. Um, obviously, I'm a writer because I do the blog, so and I write, therefore I am. But I go online and I post things as they're popping in my head and everything like that. Trying to hone my writing skills more. So, I'm just saying, like, I can definitely of the difference. Like, maybe at one point, a message that I put out there felt like it was the me. And then maybe a few years later, I'm like, I've kind of grown my perspective.
Yeah. But that's also normal. I mean, we are going to evolve. If you're the same person you were 5 years ago, that's not a good thing. That's definitely not be the change. Because you should want to change. You should want to evolve. You should want to try to stretch and challenge and grow yourself into new comfort zones, into new levels of being, into different areas, because as a person, life is supposed to be a journey, they say, right? But why take a journey if it's going to look the same way every single day until the day you die? Then you might as well just never move. But if you're moving through this journey, why not change the scenery every so often?
I like that. I like that. Nothing like having that window seat and looking at the beautiful different scenery around you.
Exactly.
Stop into snow. Awesome. So I have been so curious. I'm going to backtrack again. We were just kind of going on about the journaling. I could talk about journaling with you forever because I think it's such an important practice. There we go.
Yes. I call it a daily habit.
I think it's such an important practice. So I'm trying to understand somehow the connect, right? Because you do that as a truth confidant. And then you're also doing the Blogger Association. Mm-hmm. And sometimes those of us who are entrepreneurial, that's not uncommon for us to have our hands in different things. After all, you're entrepreneurial.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, how can we combine some of the things that we do for personal growth, like doing the journaling and things of that nature, or somebody who's doing more personal development and self-growth things while they're trying to run a business and be changed through a business, something like the Bloggers Association? How do we bring those two together to create a synergy and really make a big impact?
Well, first, it's not going to be easy to do it. I need people to not think, because you may see someone who's a serial entrepreneur and you think, oh man, it just seems so effortless, that they're able to do. It's not. One day, maybe like today of the recording that we're doing today was all about the blog group, because we have a blog boot camp on August 5th. Next week it's going to be all about the truth confidant. So I have days where it's a focus, one business over the other. I try not to do both at the same time, just because I want to give 100% of my time, effort, and energy into whatever I'm doing for that. As far as people who are trying to work on their personal development as they're building a business, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me in the beginning because I was running a different business and that business ended up closing. But it was a lot of factors. So it wasn't just one thing, it was a lot and it snowballed. And long story short, I realized as I started to become aware of who I am, that business was not aligned with me or my skill set. So it took a while to let that one go. But the blog group was something that I wanted to be a part of. Things just happened where I became the leader. It wasn't something I sought out. It wasn't something that I even thought of creating. It just happened. And over time, I've learned how to figure out how to run a group, how to manage everybody's personalities, how to make sure that I'm not being abrasive or too direct, because I know I'm a very direct person. So I've had growing pains with that. Journaling has actually helped me be able to release frustrations that I can't just go off and tell people. Like, I need you to learn how to read. Like, I can't just go off and tell people that because it's rude. So I can journal that frustration. And then I started the Truth Confidant in January 2017, but all of 2016, I was putting it out there, just trying to see people's response, getting an idea of if their interest level was high or not. So easing that into something that I'm doing every day, plus I teach at least one class a day. It is a lot. So I have a calendar that I create at the previous month, and I write down the days that I'm teaching, the days that I have to do something. But at the end of the day, with the journaling, it allows me to vent and to write, the good, the bad, the ugly, what I'm hoping will happen with the blog group, what I'm hoping will happen with Truth Confidant, what I liked, what I didn't like. So it allows me to release things that you probably should not tell other people. But as a way for those who are creating a business, is a way for you to say things that you cannot say to other people. Because I cuss people out in my journal quite often, but I'm not going to walk up to them and say what I say in my journal. I'm able to walk up to them, be cordial, do what I need to do business wise, and keep it moving. But there's some things you just can't say to other people, as bad as you want to say it. That's why you need a journal. I'm all for venting in the journal, but I also teach you how to create solutions after you vented.
Mm. I love that. It reminds me of I forgot what they were. Oh, they were called morning pages.
Oh yeah, some people do that. Yes.
I couldn't. I had such a hard time with it. I did it for the program that I was in at that time.
I'm not a morning journaler. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not gonna happen first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
And if it's you, great. If it's not you, don't feel bad, because I don't do it.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't swing it. I couldn't wait till that program was over. I was like, this is not working for me.
Yes.
But you know what? That's the wonderful thing that when I was checking out, what you're up to, that I really liked about yours. It wasn't about you have to do this or else.
Yes. I want people to at least try it. A lot of people say, I can't journal. I don't like journaling. And then I'll ask, have you done it before? Well, no. Then how do you know you don't like it? Or how do you know it doesn't work? And I don't have time. I'm like, okay, so you don't have 5 minutes. Just start with 5 minutes. I don't know what to say, but you write on Facebook every single day. And you have these extensive posts. So, it's a blockage in people's mind that they have. And it all goes down to that English teacher in high school. We all had one who just really made us hate English, even the ones who are writers. You just have that one teacher who just turns you off from writing. But at the same time, we can't say we don't like something until we actually try it. Once you've tried it, and if it doesn't work for you, I'm not going to say you have to do journaling. There's other forms of mental release. But this is the one that I do. This is the one that worked for me. And this is the one I've done extensive research to show how it can help other people.
Awesome. Awesome. Vernetta, thank you so much for sharing about that. I definitely appreciate it. Obviously, like I said, I am all for journaling. And I like that you said, I think the most important thing that you said, which I think is relevant to being a change, one, you're getting to know yourself. 2, you're getting the vent, and then 3, you said then afterwards, because we're owed that to ourselves to vent. But then afterwards we start working to find solutions, so that when you do go out to the people who you have to go work with, and you have to,
Yes.
you could be the change through your actions because you were ready.
Yes. Like Jesus be a fence around my tongue because I need this to go off, but I also need to be able to look at this person and just show respect. I'll just put it that way. Journaling allows you to respect other people while getting out of your system whatever you think of them personally. You can still show them some level of respect when you see them in person.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So before we wrap up, I'm like, what was that sound? Before we wrap up, I guess I have papers falling around. Could you leave us with one actionable piece of advice for somebody who wants to take up a cause, or they might want to figure out how they can do something that's really passionate, like you are doing with the confidant, the truth confidant. There we go. But yeah, at the same time, you are a part of something that's also larger than you when you are teaching and running or helping to run the Bloggers Association.
Well, someone told me this story years ago. I don't know who it is. I mean, I've been trying to figure out who told me, but it's the teacup and the saucer. This is going to be the perfect analogy when it comes to you trying to be the change, you trying to do multiple things. So the teacup and the saucer, we all know what it looks like. If you drink tea, I'm not a tea drinker, but if you drink English proper tea, okay, so we're always told, fill yourself up, have a full cup, you can't do anything if you're running low on energy. Well, what people mistake is the cup is for you. You need to have a full cup so that you can get through your day, so that you can do the things that you need to do. When you start journaling or releasing frustrations and stress and stressors, and learning how to let go of expectations that you can't control, you'll start to not only fill yourself up, but you'll start splashing over onto your teacup. Once you start splashing energy and time and all this extra stuff that you have in your life, that's what you can do for other people. That's what you can give to your community, more businesses, work, your church, your family. But if you do not have stuff sitting on your saucer, there's no way that you're going to be able to be the change for anyone, including yourself, because a full cup is going to just get you through the day. But splashing over onto your saucer is going to give abundance to other people. You can't give what you don't have. You can't be the change if you're running on empty.
I love that. That is one of my favorite phrases. You cannot give what you do not have. I'm sitting here like, yeah.
And people, I'm not a cliche person. I'm not an affirmations person, but I have learned that is so true. Like when people are coming at me all the time, I'll just flat out tell people no. Like I don't even give an explanation anymore. It's like, no, I'll turn off my phone. I'll go and decompress, watch Netflix, do something. And then a few hours later, I'll come back and, start going through messages and responding. But I'm not going to give you when you're constantly taking, asking. I'm not going to deplete myself just so you can have an answer. It's not like a life or death situation. So I know you can wait for the response that I can give you when I'm up to it mentally.
Awesome. That's such important advice. And I think that's important advice whether you're a business owner or a factory worker. It's so important to have those boundaries, and it's so important to fill your own cup first and then nourish others with the overflow. So I thank you so much for leaving us such wonderful advice. And I love the way you phrase it. That's actually the first time I heard it that way. So I'm like, I like that. And I am a tea drinker.
Yeah, I cannot remember who shared that with me, but I was like, that makes so much sense because when you drink tea, sometimes you're splashing onto your saucer and you're like, that's because I had too much tea in my cup. Well, you can't, that's when you know, okay, I have more than enough tea. You gotta think of it as yourself. If you have nothing splashing, then what can you give yourself?
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you gained so much value from this. I know I definitely sure did. Thank you so much for swinging by. It's been so wonderful and lovely getting to know you all these years. I'm saying all these,
I know it's been a while. Like, it's been a really long time.
that's a blessing in and of itself.
Yeah, it's because you're like on the East Coast, I'm in Texas. We have met people for people who like they're probably just online friends. No, we've met in person. But yeah, it's been, and to be able to continue that relationship and then do stuff for each other, like your Love Self Love Business, some teleseminar. She's been on my podcast. Like we've still been trying to do projects together.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll probably always continue to reach out. It when you're in business, and I guess this is a part of it too. When you're in business, when you meet good folk, you when you find your kindreds, you
You want to continue to nurture.
continue to love on them. So awesome, awesome. So everyone, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next time, take care of yourself.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks again.